here's what I'll say about this Michigan and Alabama game. If you want to be the man, you've got to beat the man. How many times have we said that? And Nick Saban, without a doubt, is the man. Alabama is the man. Every program for the last decade and a half that's had success on the national stage has had to get over the Alabama hump. Auburn and Cam, what were they down 24-0 at halftime? Had to get over that hump. Dabo Swinney and Clemson had to do it. They did it twice. Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes, they had to get over the Alabama hump with a third-string quarterback. 2019 LSU had to go to Tuscaloosa. I was at that game. They won it. Even this year's Texas team to make the playoff had to go to Tuscaloosa and win. Georgia, loss after loss after loss against Alabama. Finally, they get over that hump. They win their first national championship in 40 years. Michigan got that opportunity yesterday, and for most of the game, the moment looked too big for them. Special teams, I haven't seen Michigan make a special teams blunder this entire season, and it got so bad, you and I were wondering if they could make a PAT to even force overtime. All of that being said, it was almost even more impressive that they won an ugly game. What travels when you're in a dogfight? Defense, and that unit delivered drive after drive. What else travels? Your senior running back, when you needed it most, the guy who came back. You said it best, Jake, when Alabama came back and won the Iron Bowl. Alabama played as badly as they possibly could, and they still found a way to win the game because the most elite teams, the best of the best, they find ways to win when they've played terrible the entire evening. They never waver in their belief to win a football game. So anybody can win when it's pretty. Anybody can win when they play perfectly. Michigan played far from that. J.J. McCarthy missed a bunch of throws that ended drives. Michigan still found a way in overtime to beat the juggernaut that you had to get over. After everyone said your schedule was too easy. Then they said you were cheaters. Then they said you couldn't beat Ohio 3 years in a row. Then they said there's no way you can beat an SEC team and win a college football playoff game. After all of that, there's only one thing left to do now.
Yeah.
Go win the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm going to start on the Alabama side, and I'm going to start with the bad. The play calling in the first half was baffling to me. It looked like pre-LSU Alabama. That's what it looked like to me. You were not moving Jalen Milroe. You were not running Jalen Milroe. It was almost like Alabama wanted to prove the point that, hey, Jalen Milroe is a pocket passer. We can line up and Jalen Milroe can beat you from the pocket. Don't forget, before the LSU game this year, because they knew they probably would have to score 50 points to beat LSU with the way that offense was playing, Alabama was fitting a square peg in a round hole with Jalen Milroe. I don't know why they did that, but in the first half, I was shocked at the play calling. Shocked. It's almost like Bill O'Brien saying that about Jalen Milroe flipped a trigger back with Tommy Rees and this offense being like, well, we're going to prove that Jalen Milroe is a pocket passing quarterback that just happens to be a great runner. That's not who Jalen Milroe is. Not only that, Michigan was able to get pressure from the interior of the pocket, right? But even after they were doing that early, I'm talking about after the first play, right? When they went and got him up the middle. Alabama still didn't move the pocket until the second half. Second half Alabama offense from a play calling standpoint and a schematic standpoint was totally different. That was the Alabama offense that we saw. And what happened? You saw more big plays. You saw Jalen Milroe be effective. I am just shocked that Alabama went into that first half and reverted back. It shocked me, right? It really actually did. On the Michigan side, on the bad in the first half, you were running the ball down Alabama's throat. Your right hand was working. They knew you wanted to go right, and you were still able to go right and score, and then you just started going left. It's like they'd rip off a run for, and I'm not saying you run it every play just because you run it for 7 yards, but the second drive, Michigan had the ball. You pop them for 2 runs, 1 for 6, 1 for 11, then you throw it 3 times. After the first play of the game where J.J. McCarthy throws it right to Caleb Downs on a play where the read's wide open and you didn't throw it, and then you worked back and threw it right to the guy that sunk. They made a China call on it, and he sucked back and picked it off. So those are the two things. It was called getting cute. I felt like both sides got cute. And when you get cute, it turns ugly. It'll always be that way. But in the second half, you saw adjustments. You saw Alabama adjust. The one thing that stayed consistent, in my opinion, for both teams for the most part in that game was defensively, right? And it came down to the fourth quarter and each team having to make a drive. Michigan got the ball last, and they made the plays. It was, and everybody was like, oh, me and you commented this during the game. the 4th and 2 that Michigan went for, they had to go for that.
I don't know why that was.
They were like, oh, what a ballsy move by Jim Harbaugh. There's 3 minutes and 19 seconds to go. Yes, you've got 3 timeouts. You kick that ball to Bama with Jalen Milroe running, you're not getting it
You don't
back.
get it back.
But you can't take that chance. I would rather go home swinging than go home punting it and giving them a chance. And you're able to hit that play with Corum. You get to block
Which
in the
they
back,
still got to
you're able
block in
score.
the back.
But another thing, and I understand, you do what got you there. I'm not saying you totally change who you are. I thought they did that on offense, both of them, and it screwed up in the first half. But you saw Alabama not change up defensively on crucial downs, especially 3rd and passing downs, or obvious passing downs. Alabama stuck in man way too long, in my opinion. That's Michigan's only shot. What happened when Alabama went zone? They shut them down. Michigan could not figure it out. They could not find a way to beat zone. They were beating man with crossers in the red zone. Then on that last drive, Alabama went back to man. I know they're a 2-man team in 3rd and passing, but it's almost like the Ohio State-Michigan game last year, where Michigan, the only way they were hitting big plays, if you got them in zero or you got them in man and it was one-on-one and they were able to throw the ball down the field, or one guy slipped or one guy made a bad step. That's where Michigan got Bama in the back end. So I was shocked that Bama didn't adjust and play more zone. I know that's not who they are, but sometimes you do have to be a little bit of a chameleon when something is not working. But there were some points where I was very surprised, but at the end of the day, I think experience won out. That's what I think. I think Michigan didn't panic. I think they didn't panic up front. And that last drive, you saw them, right, make the plays when they had it. Roman Wilson, what an incredible catch on the tip pass. And look, you've got to catch some breaks. You've got to, but Bama caught some breaks. Michigan was awful on special teams. Then they put, the white guy back to catch the punt, and then he almost blows it. I mean, I was hurting for you over there, scared to death. But I was shocked schematically.
I could not believe what I was watching on the TV.
I was shocked. I was just shocked schematically at some things throughout that game.
What do you think?
God, the thing about me was, the one thing I was worried about somewhat, if you go through, I don't know how much adversity Michigan's faced on the field throughout their schedule. You go through Michigan games most of the times, they're always the one to throw the first punch.
They hadn't trailed in the second half.
Yeah, they're usually the one who always throws the first punch. They never panic. And that's what I was worried about. The one thing I point out and the one thing I look at when I come back to this game, and you brought it up, and I think it's experience. In that last drive, when you needed it most, your guys came through. When all the pressure was built, when that bomb was about to go off, your guys, I saw no panic.
No panic.
Zero panic. And J.J. McCarthy's face, or any player on this Michigan team, they knew that they were about to go score a touchdown and attempt to win this football game. And that's huge for those players, and that's huge for Jim Harbaugh, because they looked adversity in the face and weren't afraid of it. Right? If you're Alabama, the couple things that I agree with you you did not run Jalen enough at all, in my opinion. I think you came out the first 2 drives, you threw it 6 times in a row.
What are you doing?
I'll never understand that. And for all the people coming out here going for Tommy Rees's head for that last play, go look at that last play. The play call wasn't bad, in my opinion. You had the running back on the swing. The snap was low to the right. He couldn't get there. If Jalen Milroe follows that puller, he's walking in the end zone. Walking in the end zone. So in my opinion, that's panic. That's panic from Jalen Milroe. But Michigan, you won an ugly football game. You did everything, in my opinion, to lose this football game, but you still found a way to win. And that's depth, that's experience, and that's belief, and that's the villain card, which Michigan's been playing.
I think Michigan won that game despite J.J. McCarthy, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I think J.J. McCarthy missed a couple wide open guys. I thought he made some very questionable decisions. But that one play he made on the throwback where he caught that ball with one
Ridiculous.
hand. And then that athleticism was incredible. We are going to get to the Booster Club here in 1 second. But here's another thing. How has Alabama played this many games and you still can't get a snap? How does that happen? In the biggest moments.
Yeah.
Go back to the Iron Bowl.
Multiple in a row.
Go back to the Texas game.
Yeah.
Week 2. Alabama can't snap the ball. Like, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And listen, early in the year, we got a new center, new quarterback. It happens every now and then. I watch guys in the NFL drop snaps under center. But it seems that Alabama, in the most crucial moments, can't get a snap. You can't do the most simple, you can do all these complex things, but you can't do the most simple thing. And that shocked me. That shocked me. Hey, YouTube, thanks for checking us out. It's 2024. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Grab some merch. We got mugs. We got candles. We got hoodies at thedailywire.com/shop. Check out Crane & Company there. And make sure you share the show and check out Lady Ballers, one of the hit movies of 2023.